The Critshow contains elements of horror, fantasy violence, and adult language. Content warnings can be found in the episode description. It's really wild to me how, like, when you're scared, there can be such a difference between what goes through your head and then what, like, actually happens in real life.
Mm.
Like, for example, Jake and I went to this haunted house last weekend, right?
Yes. Sorry, I realized I was not being a proper audience member there. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Tell us more.
And then what happened? Can we all start doing Grease? Like, let's just oh well, oh well, oh well, oh. And now it's your turn. Go.
So we went to a haunted house last weekend.
Yeah.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
So we went to a haunted house last weekend. And through, like, the last portion of it, like right at the end, we're going through a bunch of hallways. It's all set outside, but they're like structures built, right? So sometimes you're out in the open air, sometimes you're in little enclosures. So we're moving just through pitch black hallways, like have to feel the walls to move, can't see. And then at the end, we open a door and we just are outside, but we're enclosed in kind of a clearing, I guess, but it's just walls and pathways, and there's no clear like go this way. There's just multiple ways you could possibly go.
Oh, okay.
And all of a sudden we hear the chainsaw, and Chainsaw Man comes out,
as is tradition.
As the prophecy foretold. Let me preface this by saying I know this isn't real, okay?
Yeah.
I know I'm not in danger. I know I'm not going to actually get murdered.
Yeah.
I know that. Scared Megan, however, this is what went through my brain. It was, oh fuck, there's a Chainsaw Man. And I said, where do we go? And Jake was like, I don't know. There's not a exit labeled. And I was like, we just got to pick a path. And I pick a doorway and I run through it and it's wall turn. And I'm like, okay, is this going to lead us back? Is this going to lead us to an exit? Okay, it looks like it's actually going to lead us somewhere. And then I went, oh shit, I left Jake with a murderer. And so then I turn around to make sure he's still alive, and I see him running after me, and I'm like, okay, he's on his way. He's making it happen. I can keep going. And I'm just like, wall, chain link fence, run as fast as I can. And then I'm just like, finally out of this place, hands on my knees, trying to breathe because I've done more exercise than I've done in months. Just running through this place. It was a lot. Apparently, that's not what actually happened.
Yeah, do I get to tell the real story
yeah,
now?
you
Okay. So we step out into this clearing. Chainsaw fires up. There is a Megan-shaped dust cloud in the air where she was a moment ago, and she starts running around corners, and I'm like losing sight of her. She starts to take a corner that I'm not going to see her anymore, but I see her like start to go around, and like one foot stays anchored. Like she starts to go, comes back over that foot, looks around, looks at me, and goes, "We gotta get out of here!" And then runs away where she can no longer see me. And I have to catch up. Chainsaw Man is between the two of us. So I've got to navigate my way. I've got to negotiate my way past him. And he looks at me and he gives me a half-hearted, like, vroom with the chainsaw, like, at my knees.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, you're not the person I want. Just fucking let me go.
We got back to the car and I was like, hey, I'm sorry I left you to die there. And he was like, oh, I was never in any danger. And I was like, no, I know that. He's like, no, I mean, even to be scared, I was not the target here.
He didn't care about me. He's like, you just walk. You just get out of here.
Get out of the way.
The fun one is gone. You go.
Well, I've got chills. They're multiplying.
Oh, boy. Well, I have some treats that we were sent.
Yeah.
But we're going to save them till next week because...
Oh, you bastard.
What a tease.
Because I can get them to Kim fast enough that she can have them at the same time.
Oh, nice.
Oh, we can do it for, because
Yes.
it'll be right before Halloween when we record.
Yes, correct.
Excellent.
I don't know who I said. Yas.
Yas.
Yes.
And so On next week's intro, we've got these treats, and I will get those out in the mail to Kim tomorrow so that she has them at the same time.
Yay!
And also, remember, as you're doing all of your Halloween things, your pumpkin patches and your apple orchards and your haunted houses.
This is spoken like an AI who's never gone outside.
Someone type spooky shit.
Your
into-
tricks and or
Yes.
treats.
Remember to submit your Halloween costume contest entries at thecritshowpodcast.com. We have gotten some wonderful submissions already. You can hashtag those crit or treat, or you can send those to us at the cast.
No, you cannot. That was not
Please
on the
don't
thing.
do that.
You can tag us at the Crit Show on Twitter.
Hashtag us. Okay, AI.
I mean, you can do whatever. It's just not necessarily going to get to us.
We won't always find it.
We won't see it at all.
Yeah, you can tag us at the Crit Show, or you can send it to us through email at thecast@thecritshowpodcast.com.
Or you can mail us the physical costume in a box. P.O. box.
At P.O. Box, hashtag critter treat.
Or you can drop the physical photo into a puddle of water, and Harrison will see it.
Harrison will see
tell
it.
us and tell us about it.
Harrison
will come to
call-
us.
He just calls us. I keep getting your shit, and I'm sick of it.
Jake and Megan inside of the Welcome Center, you have seen the tone shift of the light in here as part of the planetary nebula has faded away. Part of the center mass of this dying star is not giving off light anymore. And where that light was being emitted, you now see a small station floating just off the surface of this dying star.
Tell me you see that too.
I don't understand what I'm looking at.
It was like another illusion this whole time. This nebula thing. This is what it looked like. We just couldn't see it. They must have got it. They must have got the runes.
So that means that's where we're probably headed next, huh?
I think that makes sense, right? With the way the three circles. If this is the middle, that's like right above here, right? And all the lights just went out.
All right, well, let's get the ship fixed then, because I think we're flying way out there.
Yeah, and as you both move through here, headed towards the hangar, now that the light is different in here, at the very top of this, what almost seems like a glass tower, almost imperceptible, and made even more so originally by the shifting light of this planet, you can see little runes etched in the top of the glass tower.
Can I make them out from here? Like the contents of these runes?
Why don't you survey the scene?
Okie dokie. 9.
Can I try to help out with that?
Yeah, how so?
I mean, I'm somewhat familiar with some of these runes. Like, I've seen the ones that they put on the creatures' chests in the training room, and I have seen a lot of the different runes my grandpa used for his spells and rituals. Am I able to make any of these out?
Yeah, roll assist.
11.
All right, Jake, re-roll your lowest die.
13.
All right, you get a hold too.
Would I know anything that's related to this?
Yes, as you examine these runes that are etched in the glass ceiling of this tower, they're not the same runes that you're used to seeing. They are very similar to the power transference runes that you've seen where you're able to transfer an ability of a creature into a target. They are stylistically similar runes, though. So they are related, but you get the sense that the runes in this do something else.
All right, then what happened here?
So you have seen through Anastasia and through a couple of other sources when this ritual is used to transfer powers from a creature into a person. It seems like this circle is being used as almost a stand-in for the person and directing all of that siphoned energy towards this station on the dying sun. So it is focusing it and channeling this energy probably towards some kind of a battery, someplace to store it if Nash is collecting it and using it on a larger scale.
Oh, yeah, that's like a magnifying glass. Like just rocketing this energy up there and siphoning it into a battery, probably.
And then what is it doing with it up there?
The hell if I know. I don't know if he's got to come back and get it later, or if something up there is then siphoning it through a portal to our world, or what.
Okay, so what if we mess up these runes here? It won't go up to that place, and they can't send it off, right?
I mean, now that these down here are broken, I think it's safe to assume that the one on the roof isn't doing anything anymore. but that there is still that issue of all of the current stored energy at that center.
It's still a battery.
Yeah.
It's like a solar panel battery that like just holds it.
Yes.
It's not like a generator or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Yeah, seems like we got to get up there then.
Is there any line of sight? Is there any angle by which I can look out the glass of the Welcome Center and see where these two chuckle fucks have gone?
Yeah, you see them sprinting across the landscape of this planet to the point where you assume something must be chasing them, but you don't see anything behind them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Rev, like in the last episode, you painted this really beautiful monologue of like Kim and Tass. You look up and you see that. I think I'm speaking for both of us when I say we saw nothing.
I hooked that knife, and then she realized I was already 50 yards out of this crater.
I go, they must be pursued by an invisible attacker.
Yeah, like they are leaving behind them Roadrunner-esque plumes of dust.
I hooked that knife, saw this thing start to fade, and I'm just yelling over my shoulder, "Nebula's fake, sun's haunted, run!"
Yeah, so Jake and Megan head back into the hangar and are able to replace this piece right about the time that Kim and Tass make it around the building and back inside.
Hey, seems like you shut it down.
Yeah, we did. Oh, yeah.
There's something real hot out there. I don't know what, but I think we got ahead of it.
What are you talking about?
We broke the circle, so whatever's out there is free now.
Yeah, and the crater was like burning hot. So we assumed that maybe there was something like under the crater or like in the vicinity of the crater. I don't know. We just didn't want to risk it.
No, I don't blame you. That's fine. I wonder though if whatever circle a thing was trapped in would either have to be that one or one below it or one above it, right? So I wonder if there was like a heat elemental or something, like something incorporeal in your very circle that you were getting close to or something.
Well, whatever it was, it does not run as fast as us.
So we did it. So we just have the one left, right? The main one.
Yep, way up there.
Well, the ship is ready to go now, so as soon as we're ready to head up, I think we have our new destination.
All right, let's see what Carrington thinks and then get moving.
Let's get her approval, and then we'll head out.
Yeah.
Before we take off, I'm going to pay another visit to the med bay and get myself all better, please.
Okay.
Okay, I got a 7, so that gets me all good.
We jump ahead about 10 minutes and we see the ship leaving the atmosphere of Hydarnes, headed towards the surface of this dying sun. As you get closer and closer to your destination, the turquoise light from this nebula start to mess with your eyes. It's not doing anything to the sensors of the ship, but you can feel it starting to wear on your eyes, making them tired and sore. And there's a brief moment where as the ship gets closer and this station gets larger, everybody's vision fades to black. Your eyes open and you're all laying on the ground. This ground is pristine white, and there are plexiglass walls separating all of you. A voice comes over an intercom, robotic and calm. Shutdown initiated. Quarantine sequence engaged. System malfunction. System malfunction.
System malfunction.
Unable to determine source of techno-organic virus.
System malfunction.
Please discover and inoculate accordingly. Welcome to Critter Treat. Welcome to Critter Treat, everybody.
I'm so excited!
I'm so scared.
Take your Starhold stuff and put it aside for now, because we're playing a different game. This is a game, boy, I hope this works. Not the title of the game. The title of my thoughts. This is a game that I wrote.
Oh,
Yay!
I couldn't
nice.
find something that was exactly what I wanted, so I made something. This game is called Infected. It is what you would call a social deceit game, akin to Werewolf or
no.
Mafia.
That's great.
You or someone in your group may be infected. The quarantine protocol has triggered a lockdown. It is up to you and your team to decide who, if anyone, should be inoculated for the infection before the barriers are lowered and access is granted into the facility. The infected will say or do anything they can to make it out of the quarantine. Each round of infected consists of 4 phases: chatter, moves and results, fallout, inoculation vote. Chatter. Set a timer and give the players time to talk about the situation/vote results they are currently living in. Moves and results. Privately submit your move and target, if applicable, to the GM. After all moves are received, the GM will privately send you what you have learned. Fallout. Once everyone has the results, a timer starts. Use what you have learned to sway the other players one way or another. You do not have to be honest about what you learned or how you learned it in the Fallout section. Inoculation vote. You have the option to vote for another player/players to be inoculated against the infection. The GM will privately collect your inoculation vote. You do not have to vote in the inoculation vote phase. Note, change the numbers below based off the number of players you're starting with. This example is starting off with 4 players because we're 4 players. 1 vote for a player yields no result. 2 votes for a player informs that player that they have been voted for. If their inoculation vote total does not drop to 1 or 0 within the next 2 inoculation votes, they will be inoculated after the 3rd consistent inoculation vote of having 2 votes. 3 votes for a player causes them to be inoculated immediately. If players are inoculated, adjust the votes needed in the inoculation phase accordingly. Players may all agree to move out of the chatter or fallout phase faster. If they do, the remaining time is eliminated from the overall game and does not roll over into the next phase. The inoculation. If infected, the inoculation will knock the player out for 2 hours and remove the infected state. If not infected, the inoculation is very powerful and knocks the player out for 3 days. At the end of the predetermined time, possibly 60 to 90 minutes, the walls will drop and no further inoculations will be given. Those still awake, if any, are free to leave the quarantine chamber. If during the game all uninoculated players agree that no further inoculations are needed, they may choose to end the quarantine. Here are your moves. Deceive. This move targets one other player. It defends against scrutinize, giving the player who you scrutinized against you false information. If you are targeted by expose in the same round that you have deceived, all other players learn that you were trying to deceive, and the player who exposed you will learn who you were trying to deceive. Deflect. This move targets one other player. Any moves used against you this round will yield results as if they had targeted the player you have chosen to deflect to. If that player has used observe or wall off this round, they will learn that you have deflected to them. If your chosen target has also targeted you with deflect this round, the moves cancel out, and any information learned about you will be learned as if you had not used deflect. If you are targeted by deflect and have also used deflect this round against a different player, you become aware of who targeted you, and their deflect shifts to your target. Expose. This move targets one other player. All players learn what move the exposed player used this round. The exposed player learns who exposed them. Observe. This move targets all other players. You learn who used single target moves this round against who, but you do not learn what moves. If targeted by expose in the same round in which you use observe, all players learn what you learn. Scrutinize. This move targets one other player. Examine a single player closely and ask the GM one of the following. Who are they targeting this round and with what move? What move did they use last round and against who? Have they used deceive on me? How did they vote in the last inoculation vote phase? The answers you receive from scrutinize can be affected by deceive and deflect. And lastly, wall off. This move targets self. You will learn who has used a move against you this round. The only players who can learn anything from you this round are players who used observe. If you are targeted by scrutinize this round, and that player chooses to scrutinize you again next round, they will be able to ask 3 questions about you. So there's a lot of moving pieces here. All of the moves affect one another. It's kind of a big paper, rock, scissors situation. I have handouts for all of you with these moves on them, but essentially, we're going to have some conversation about the situation you find yourselves in with a timer. And then you're going to message me the move that you would like to use and against who. Once I have all of those, I will give everyone the information that they have learned. You then use the next timer to try and convince who should or should not be inoculated. And then you'll have the inoculation vote. That will go on until time runs out or the group that is awake or uninoculated agrees that no further inoculations are needed. So, this is going to start off first. I'm going to send you all a message. We don't do this very often, but everyone's going to need to have out maybe Discord or something, because we're going to share some secret information back and forth this whole game. So I'm going to send you a little message about whether you are or are not infected. And once the game is over, I will tell you how this was decided. So I have just sent you all a message to let you know of your infected or uninfected status. Again, it could be nobody, it could be everybody, it could be a couple people. Who knows? A couple of things. This infection, it's taken over part of your brain, that desire to survive. So just like in Werewolf, this is not a game where you will really be aware and sacrifice yourself. You have the driving urge to survive, to get through uninoculated. There is an element of this game that obviously is meta because you have moves. I'm going to then give you information from those moves. But the rest of the game is intended to be played in character. So if you know that someone has used Deceive, it won't be well, I know Jake used Deceive last round and that da-da-da-da. It'll be like, Jake, I'm getting a weird feeling from you. I feel like you're lying to it. Try to justify it without using the meta of the game. Try to justify this in character, I think is how we'll have the most fun with this scenario. Are we all ready?
No, let's do it.
Yeah, God, no. But let's hit it anyway.
Yeah.
All right. You are all cordoned off in your own little plexiglass rooms. There is a small terminal on the wall that lists the other rooms and gives you the option to vote to have them inoculated. You've heard that the system is having a malfunction. It thinks it detects a techno-organic virus. It's uncertain. It needs you all to decide who and if to administer the inoculations. You know that if you are infected and you get inoculated, it will knock you out for 2 hours, but clear you of the infection. If you are uninfected and are inoculated, it will knock you out for 3 days. And this is kind of a dangerous place to be unconscious for 3 days. At the end of our timer, which for us will be different than for what the listeners will ultimately hear, I'm certain. But for us is going to be a 90-minute timer. At the end of those 90 minutes, the walls come down, and whoever is awake is able to leave this quarantine chamber, or if everyone unanimously agrees, everyone who is awake, to end the quarantine ends. You've all heard this over the intercom. What are you doing?
Is Carrington also in the plexiglass with us?
You see her in the back corner of the room in another chamber, unconscious.
Okay.
I've seen I know how this ends.
Spoilers for it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Spoilers for a movie.
No, it shouldn't be spoiled. That's my big stance on spoilers. If it's on a list of good movie spoilers, it shouldn't be spoiled no
That's
matter
fair.
how long it is.
Well, then why did you say
Because it was such a good opportunity.
was.
Such a good joke.
I know. I'm going to sacrifice
my
my
integrity for... Oh, I thought they were going to go the other way. I'm getting rid of my hard stance on ruining movies because this joke is too damn good.
Okay.
The timer has started.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Are you guys seeing these readouts?
Yes.
Where we're supposed to vote for people?
Yeah, but what? What?
It said something about a virus, inoculations for a virus. Are we infected?
Does anyone feel weird? I mean, other than just going through a portal and we're in a space land weird?
Not beyond the normal context base level weirdness, no.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, this could be easy. Some of that stuff from the weird Mercury monster alien got onto Jake. Is that what it's like? Is it the residue of that?
I don't know. I mean, I feel normal.
I mean, that was a situation, right, where it was that can get into you and they were killing people who it infected.
Yeah, but so we know the main thing died. So it's not taking him over. I'm sure it's fine. I'm just wondering if this computer's yo, there's something weird and that's all this is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Who's in the cell closest to me?
Think of it like a 4-square grid.
Okay, well then I want to like walk over to the corner and like be like, do you see anything? And open my mouth real wide like everybody did. Like, ah.
Yeah, does he have that like silver in the back of his throat like they made him look
He does
for?
not, no.
It looks clear.
You've wonderful teeth. Do you floss often?
Not as often as I should, but I'm getting better.
Fucking mood. Carrington says from herself.
In her sleep as she rolls over. I mean, it seems like, okay, and it told us, like, we know how long you're out if you get inoculated.
Correct.
It seems like the safe call would be to blast us all, but if the 3 fucking days, like, we could all be dead. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think we can afford that.
No, yeah, for sure. Like, if this is Nash's station, who knows what's through those doors? It could be
Him.
yeah.
But also, if somebody is infected, we don't know with what. And what if that takes over eventually, or we take it back to our world?
Oh, God.
Is there a chance that we have dealt with so many hostile systems? Is there a chance that this computer is just fucking with us, trying to get us to knock each other out for 3 days and no one's sick?
I will step in here as the creator of this game and say no, the computer is not hostile towards anybody. If anything, it's just malfunctioning.
Okay.
Okay, we don't know what the infection is. As far as, like, accidentally taking it home, though, like, maybe once this place was cleared and we could afford, like, a 3-day, you know, safe thing, like, then we could just inoculate all of us. But I guess I don't know what happens in the meantime, you know, whatever this problem is. I guess I don't know if we could get through the mission and then inoculate, or if it's gonna fuck us all up before that happens.
What does this illness even do?
Right. Like, what if Kim and I never saw any creature down at that circle? What if it was some sort of, like, heat virus?
I mean, you don't feel weird, right?
Well, not yet.
No.
And that is time.
Oh.
Everybody,
Oh, God.
message me the moves you would like to use and against who. Hey everybody, Rev here from the future, and I'm going to give you a little information. I thought about this for a long time. Like, what do I want you, the listener, to know? And so I've decided. I'm not going to tell you who is or isn't infected. That wouldn't be any fun. But what I am going to tell you each round is what move each person did and to who. Now, I'm not going to tell you what they learned, because obviously you're going to learn that through the conversations that they have, but you're going to know what moves they're using and who they're using them against. So for this first round, Kim has used Observe on everyone. Tass has also used Observe on everyone. Jake has deflected to Megan, and Megan is scrutinizing Kim, asking, who is she targeting with a move right now? And those are the moves for this round. All right, I have gotten all of your moves, compared them against one another, and sent you all information, what you have learned this phase, which now brings us to the Fallout section, which starts a new timer and just gives you all the opportunity to talk about what you think should be done before the inoculation phase.
Megan, you're looking at me funny. What's going on?
I'm just trying to see if you look a little different from being out in the crater. Like,
Do I look a little tanner?
that'd
That'd be rare.
No, I mean, like, I know that you guys had spacesuits on because it was supposed to be protecting you from the elements out there. But Tass, you said it was like really, really hot out there, right? Like burning hot.
Yeah, yeah.
And you didn't see any sort of creatures or anything.
Not at all. Like, I threw my knife down in, and it melted the thermal knife over the plate. That's what broke the circle.
But you could feel the heat from the crater.
Yeah,
like that
yeah.
was still getting to you. Like the suit, obviously you didn't get hurt from it, but you could still feel that come through. I'm just worried that something else came through as well.
Well, I mean, I am now.
I'm sorry. I'm not like I don't want anyone to actually be infected.
So I was just sort of like looking around our plexiglass prisons. Jake, you were also kind of looking at Megan sort of funny.
I don't, like, I'm looking at all of you a little funny, I think.
Yeah, that's true. But I saw you like specifically Megan.
I mean, just while you guys were out in the crater, like, me and Megan were working on the ship, so I'm trying to keep an eye out for, if, no offense, but just if your behavior seems any different than it was, like, before we left.
No offense taken. I think that makes perfect sense. Do I seem different?
No, not really.
I'm trying to think of like all the opportunities in which like something bad might have happened. Like Jake, you got dropped on by that silver monster. Jake and Megan, you were both caught in the goo from Dion. Tass and I were in the freaky crater. Like, pretty much all of us got exposed to a fuck ton of gamma, but I don't think that's this.
Yeah, I mean, Kim and Tass went into the middle chamber thing with Riley. I guess I did too.
Yeah, you were up there too.
Yeah.
You were eating a lot of those weird sandwiches.
I did. Oh no!
You're the only one that's eaten anything from this plane.
I ate the Robo hardtack, and now I'm
That's for
infected.
robots, Jake.
No, everybody has eaten from this planet.
Yeah.
You all ate during a downtime.
Yeah.
I think you specifically went and got everyone sandwiches.
Yep.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
but Jake loved it more
That's
than
fair. Like,
Yeah, but that says more about the condition of me going into this world than like me being affected by it.
well, it's time for the first inoculation vote.
Oh,
no.
So send me a message, a reminder you do not have to vote. As a refresher for those listening at home in the inoculation phase, with 4 players, 1 vote for a player yields no results. 2 votes for a player informs them that they have been voted for, not by who. If their inoculation vote total does not drop to 1 or 0 within the next 2 inoculation vote sessions, they will be inoculated after the 3rd consecutive inoculation vote of having 2 votes. 3 votes for a player causes them to be inoculated immediately. Again, you do not have to vote in this round.
But will we know Kim got 1 vote, Megan got 2 votes, or whatever?
No, you will only know if you got 2 votes.
Gotcha, okay.
You'll know if you got 3. But if you
all
got
know.
1 vote, you will not know. Or if you got 0 votes, you will not know. All right, all the votes are in. You see the ceiling in each of your rooms start to spin, and an arm drops down.
Blades spring off of it.
Lieutenant Jigsaw, he's back.
This is where he actually went.
A metallic arm lowers down in each of them, and you can see a large needle filled with liquid. The arms seem to consider you all for a moment, then raise back into the ceiling, and the panels close.
Oh, come on. What the hell? Oh, my
Oh,
God.
that was so stressful. I don't have a fear of needles, but I feel like I'm developing one.
So we are now in the beginning of round 2, which gets us back into chatter, which is just all of you responding to what just happened.
Uh-huh.
Is it going to do that just like every now and then?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Oh boy, I just got a really terrifying visual imagery of us all getting stuck and then passing out here because I don't know how we got here. Does anybody have any memory of being moved?
No, I remember a really bright light that was kind of messing with my vision, and then I think I browned out or blacked out or something, and then just woke up here. We might not even be in the nebula. We might have been abducted by something.
Good Lord.
I mean, do we think that the thing, whatever did this, is this related to the infection? Do we think we're all infected and that's what made us pass out?
I mean, maybe. Literally, I think we're either all infected or none of us are. Because this thing is clearly freaking out, right? So it's
Yeah.
things are lowering and popping back up and it's telling us this stuff. It might just be nothing. Or, yeah, exactly that. Something messed us all up.
But it said, it knows it's malfunctioning. So I don't think that's decisive evidence that one of these or the other is the case. I agree that one of them could be the case, but I don't feel like the fact that the arms are coming down and it's telling us stuff, it told us in the beginning, I don't fucking know what's going on, so you guys figure it out for me. So
Yeah.
and that's exactly the voice it did too. I nailed it. God.
Well, so you all had little panels and stuff where you could vote to inoculate. Did you all vote?
No. I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to chance somebody falling asleep for 3 days in a wild place we don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Not yet. I mean, maybe somebody will start developing some sort of sign. I don't know how much time we'll have here, but it doesn't make sense to take that chance now.
Yeah, is there a clock on the wall of anything where do we know how much time we have before the computer releases us?
You don't, but there is just an impending sense of time marches on.
Doom.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I assume if anybody had cast a vote, then the arms would have done something different.
Yeah.
They wouldn't. I don't understand why they came down at all and then did nothing.
Other than just to freak us out, maybe?
Exactly. I mean, but again, this thing's malfunctioning, so I guess that's it. That's all.
Maybe it's just that's the part of its routine, and because we didn't think that anybody needed to be inoculated, it just reset.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's say 3 of us went for a vote on a 4th person right now, it probably wouldn't even happen until like the timer ran through, right? Like this is all sort of automated and freaking out.
I don't want to test that theory.
Well, no, yeah, of course. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think you're right. It would have to wait until it got to that part of its routine. So we needed to determine whether or not we're going to guide it in a certain direction or not.
We can't test this. Like, if we test this and we're wrong once, then this is fucked. Like, then we've just got an unconscious friend to deal with. Best case, one unconscious friend to deal with for the next 3 days.
We won't even know if we're wrong because we'll just see that they're unconscious.
I mean, yeah, I guess we'll know whether we're right or wrong
in 2
a
hours.
little bit.
Yeah.
After this place cracks open, probably.
And that's assuming that they were infected and nobody else was. We don't know if it's one person or more.
And it's time
No.
to send me your moves.
God.
Rev here again. This round, Kim has scrutinized Tass, asking how did he vote in the inoculation phase. Tass is scrutinizing Kim, asking who is Kim using a move against this round, and what move was it. Jake has used Wall Off, and Megan has scrutinized Jake, asking what move is he using this round, and against who. And that is all the moves for this round. You have all sent me your moves, and I have sent you what, if anything, you have learned this round. The new timer starts now.
Kim, I don't know if you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking, but I'm just waiting for you to like set on fire or something.
What?
What?
Why
Why would I be thinking what you're thinking?
I don't know. We just sort of had a long stare down there, and I just kind of felt the same vibe.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I'm just nervous. I mean, you look fine. You don't look any different. I guess I was just double checking.
Yeah, same.
I mean, did you get any like weird vibes from me?
No,
Okay.
I don't. I'm just this freaks me out a lot, and I just don't know what to do.
No, it freaks me out too.
And then we both just turn to stare at one of the other two.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, you guys got this. Tie a little bow on that. That was a good round. Onward.
Yeah, I think I'm just kind of bouncing off of the last, round, so to speak. Manner of speaking.
Yeah.
Since the needles came down last.
Right, round.
But no, that idea that Jake had said about, like, he was helping me, we were working together, and he was trying to see if I was any different, and I think I'm just trying to do the same. Just, like, looked for anything, like, silver in his throat and didn't see anything, but, hey, Jake, you're kind of staring off there. Is everything good?
Yeah, I this whole process feels kind of weird and icky to me, and I don't know. I don't like distrust, and it's freaking me out a little bit.
I mean, we could always just vote to end it.
I'm kind like, if nobody feels weird and we can't determine anything, I am kind of inclined to end this quarantine. Like, we vote to end it, and then if we're wrong,
We'll find out and we'll deal with it then.
yeah, then we'll figure it out, and then we know where the fucking like inoculation needles are.
I mean, that's assuming that we can get back here.
Yeah.
This is an inoculation for something that is somewhat specific, it seems, and we don't know what it is or what it could do. What if one of us turns and, like, murders the rest of each other when we get out of here?
I don't think any one of us has the ability to murder the other 3 of us. I'm sorry.
If a
none
virus
of us are
takes
that
over
good.
your brain and you don't have any control?
Like, physically, even though, like, what?
Jake's like, none of you can take me.
Jake, you definitely could like take all of us physically. I mean, mentally, probably not. But I mean, like, Tass, you've got that terrifying gun.
And it's time
Oh my gosh.
for an inoculation vote.
Boy, that felt fast.
So as a reminder, you don't have to vote, and you can vote for multiple people. All right, all the votes are in. Again, the ceilings start to spiral and open, and these metallic arms drop down, the long, gleaming needles dripping with the inoculation. The arms seem to consider you all for a moment, and then move back into the ceiling.
Oh my god.
We are at the top of round 3, and onto the chatter phase. Your time starts now.
God.
I didn't vote again.
I didn't either. There's not enough information. We can't be down a person who's not infected, but we also can't let somebody who's infected out of here. But what if none of us are infected? Then we're just wasting time.
Well, it's better to waste maybe a couple of hours talking about it than 3 days if we're wrong.
Yeah. That's true.
This can't be good for like team cohesion, though.
That's true. And every minute, I trust you all less, and it'll never be recovered. That being said, though, if we're just like, better to talk about it for 2 hours, are we gonna vote? Are we gonna fucking risk knocking one of us out? Because if not, then we may as well just go now. Like, we may as well just vote, just either knock ourselves out now or drop the walls now. Do we think that we're genuinely going to change our minds over the course of the time we're stuck in here?
I personally think, yes, it's possible. I do think that. But to your point, if we're going to go all in on one or the other, we don't know where we are or who's past that. If we knock ourselves out for 3 days, we're probably just dead.
Yeah.
I go over to the side where I can see Carrington, and I'm just like banging on the glass like, Carrington, please, wake up!
Yeah, I said a wake-up call. Wake me in 3 days.
Oh, no! Oh, no, she got the 3 days. Oh, no.
She's going to be so well rested.
Man, I don't know. We've addressed times we think we could have reasonably been infected, but none of them are especially compelling.
Is it about like, is it unique to this system or just like unique to space?
What?
I don't know. Like, is there just something weird about like spending a prolonged amount of time in space that makes someone sick? Or is it just like in this particular space? Because like y'all have been to space a few times, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these needles coming down from here have a specific thing in them. So either this is a specific thing that we can only get a cure for here, or this is just a general cure-all for any space disease. We don't know what this virus is, what it's going to do to whoever has it over time, or what it's going to make that person do to everyone else.
Oh, yeah. But computer? I don't know if you can respond. Computer, what does the virus do?
Yeah, there is no response from the computer.
Cool. Great. Thanks, computer.
Do we just like I'm about to try to get too meta. I can't think of a way to bring up this idea narratively.
I suppose that's good, because it's time for you to send me your moves.
Fuck me.
Kim is using Observe on everyone. Megan is scrutinizing Tass, asking who is he using a move against, and what move is it. Tass is scrutinizing Jake, asking who is he using a move against, and what move is it. And Jake has deflected to Tass. You have all sent me your moves, and I have sent you in response what you have learned this round, if anything. And the timer starts.
I think I'm literally just like on a heel turning, just taking in each of the 3 of them in like 5 seconds. It is like I'm on one of those little clocks, you know, where they're all like moving around, the little clock and the cuckoo clock and and stuff. Like I'm just sort of like that, exasperated, because I just don't know what to make of this.
Yeah, we're all just looking at each other and nothing is changing, and I don't know. If we're just gonna go, I don't know what I'm looking for.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think time in this box is really doing anything for our mental health, because all that I am seeing right now is Megan, you like staring really intently at Tass, you staring really intently at Jake not making eye contact with anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked at all of you and nobody looks any different.
Then what? Do we just vote to end it and just take our chances?
I guess.
That's kind of where I'm at. I mean, like, because I don't know what to do.
Wait, which way are you going on this? Like, end it, like, let us out, end it?
Yeah, voting to let us out.
To stop the quarantine.
Yeah, to stop the quarantine. And we'll just deal with it if we have to deal with it.
I mean, that's assuming that we can deal with it later. But we can't seem to do anything about it now. So if we're not going to make a decision, we might as well go find out what we can find out elsewhere here.
Okay, I raise my hand and I'm trying to like make meaningful eye contact with something. I'm voting to end it, to let us out.
I look toward Tass.
I put a finger to my nose. Last.
I've already kind of expressed my position on this. Like, it seems like we're just going to piss away 90 minutes here and nobody's going to feel comfortable pulling the trigger on anybody, which I think makes us good people, kind of, if not dumb a little bit. But I feel like we can waste 90 minutes and walk out of these boxes, or we can waste all we've wasted so far and walk out of these boxes. So yeah, I will also raise my hand. I think I'm in support of getting out of here and dealing with it when we fucking know what it is and who's affected, assuming it exists.
I raise my hand.
Yeah, fuck it.
The computer voice comes over the intercom again. Quarantine lifted. And the plexiglass walls slowly lower down. And at the far end of the room, a door unseals and cracks open. As this barrier is broken, Carrington sits up and looks around, and the five of you start to walk towards that door. As you walk out of the door, the camera pans back, and we see a sign above the door that says, Cloning Facility. And just outside the space station, we see the IPT cruiser with the crew arriving at the facility.
What?
Oh my gosh.
All right, so for a little explanation here, what I tried to do is I went back through the story thus far and counted up how many times each of you had been exposed to something that could get into your body, something that could be part of whatever Nash was doing here. And it was all relatively low. I believe, I would have to go back to my notes, but I believe it was Tass at 3, Jake at 4, Megan and Kim at 3. So it was very low numbers. I picked out 4 D10s, one for each of you, and I rolled those dice. If the number was your number of exposures or less, you were infected. If it was higher than your number of exposures, you were clean. I rolled, at the same time, 4 3s.
We were all infected.
You were all infected.
Good job, everybody.
I knew it.
There was a little bit of a shift here at the end. I had decided in my mind that because I knew you were all infected and I didn't want to redo the roll, like that seemed disingenuous. So I had decided in my head that, okay, if nobody gets knocked out, then I think what this is it's like testing the mentality of these clones to see how they will react with one another before it releases them into the facility to do who knows what. But now you have seen, or at least the audience has seen, your 4 infected clones released into the facility that your ship is getting ready to dock at.
Gotcha. So, like, Kim Prime is not infected?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Kim Prime is you're all just now arriving on the ship.
Amazing.
And this could be, maybe, some clue that Carrington has had a run-in with these people in some fashion.
Yeah, her body was certainly there as well.
So operating as someone who was infected but not knowing who else was, when Jake started talking pretty immediately about just ending the experiment, I was like, okay, so I'm infected and Jake's infected, so I need to be team stop the quarantine no matter what.
Now, this feels, okay, I feel that my points in the narrative were not suspicious.
Yeah.
They were fine.
Yeah, sure.
No.
So I think you guys are all metagaming.
No, I had a similar thought, but I had for kind of a different reason. I don't know. This might actually line up, but there is a level in these types of games where you have to play both sides a little bit and show that you're willing to bend one way or the other. So when that came from you, I went, okay, what I have to find out is which way he's trying to bend this. And so that's where a few of my stuff was targeted at you, because I was like, I'm either on his team and I'm going to whole ass try to bend it back to sell that idea, or I'm going to just step back and wait for everyone else to kind of hit it again. That's hilarious.
You and Megan in particular did a really good job of playing both sides of the fence, of like, in moments where people were like, Jake would be like, I think we should end this. Megan was like, well, now hold on. Let's not get carried away here.
Yeah. See, I always know you have to do that both sides. The problem is when I'm infected and I play the other side, sometimes I go too far on the other side and I have to pull myself
And then
back.
they inoculate me.
Yeah, well, no, then I'm like, oh, wait, no, I'm not reaching my goal. I have to remember that my goal is to end this. So I want that to happen. But I similarly had an idea when Jake was voting to end this, but I thought, okay, that's obviously something someone who's infected would want. But maybe Jake is just being very logical as his character. Like, that 3 days is potentially a huge risk.
Yeah.
Would, Coin Jake truly believe that it was worth the risk? And that might not be because he's infected. That might be because he really wants to go that direction. But it wasn't until I scrutinized him in the second round and I didn't learn anything, meaning he had walled off probably, unless somebody else deflected to him or something. That was when I started suspecting him. And then I was like, okay, so he might be on my team as well. So now next time I'm going to see what Tass is up to.
Yeah. And that logic that like, especially Jake would not want to sacrifice those 3 days, because him being the person who understands the magic the best, like his character knows when part of this spell breaks, like, yeah, it still works, but Nash is probably going to become aware that this has broken. And so if it's been broken now and 3 days pass. What will happen in those 3 days?
Yeah, and also just like it seemed so in character for all of us to just kind of be like, well, let's get out of these cages, and like if this is a problem, we will deal with it later. Like, let's do the mission.
No, absolutely not. If I had been not infected, there is no way I would have voted to end this.
Same.
And that's what I kept thinking, is that if somebody else is not infected and they are voting for this, that is such a huge risk. And I had to keep pulling myself back from arguing that stance when everyone started leaning that way, because I was like, oh, this is going to be so bad if there's somebody here who is not also infected. But that's what I want, because I want to get out of here.
I'll tell you what, though, that got close, and I know it probably wouldn't have happened from the other two, but you were the only one I was going to vote for, because I was like, clearly she's fine, so we got to get rid of her so she can't let us out.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's...
Did anyone vote for anyone at any point?
Nope.
To be inoculated?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I voted for people every time.
Yeah, because, the thing that actually never came to fruition is, you were like, why the hell are the arms coming down? And then looking at us and then leaving. Megan's right. Like, that's the reset pattern. No one ever had more than one vote. If someone had had 2 votes, if, say, Jake had said, oh, yeah, vote for everyone in the same round that Kim said that, all of those arms would have just stayed down and watched you the entire next round.
Oh, awful.
God, that's terrifying.
So, yeah, they were resetting to let you know that, no one has 2 votes.
Jake, was this an elaborate deflect situation that I haven't put my head around, or did you scrutinize yourself?
No. I did deflect and then wall off and then deflect. I think that's what I did. I never scrutinized anyone.
Yeah, he
Got
deflected
Who did you deflect onto?
Tass, who was scrutinizing Jake.
Gotcha.
So the result that Tass and Kim got was that Jake is scrutinizing Jake.
That's what I had assumed, but I thought that's a baller move if he's just like, I'm going to scrutinize myself and let them sort it out.
Yeah, I scrutinized Kim and then Jake and then Tass.
Yeah. We really never, on my end of it, we never really got into the weeds with, I thought, oh man, once I start having to like weave through these moves and give people what they've learned. But for the most part, no one learned more than 3 things. A lot of times people only learned 1 thing in their round. And I was afraid at one point, I'm like, oh my God, like the right set of these moves, someone's going to learn like 7 things and I have to keep them all straight. I'll be interested to see like if we find an opportunity to play this again for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
If it actually works or if it just happened to work this time.
Yeah, I think this has a hell of a lot of potential, honestly. Like, you put together a fun thing here. I think this is
Good.
something that if you add a line or 2 so that you get to step back and be in it as well, whether that's a pull of a card to see who's infected or whatever else, it might be something.
Oh, yeah, like a deck of cards, and if anyone who draws a diamond is infected or something.
Right. Good shit, man.
I'm not smart enough about this to know, like, maybe this could be broken if you weren't playing it as your character in an established world with established relationships.
Yeah.
Like, I think that if the goal of this was just, no matter what, figure out who's bad, whatever, then, I don't know, there might be some interactions of these moves or, like, ways to play this that could, not work out. But it seems like as long as everybody's being genuine to their character, then, yeah, this works.
This is a very much a game I designed with the mentality of you have to play it in character, so it's not like Werewolf where we're a bunch of friends and someone's been infected. It is play this game with your Monster of the Week group. Play this game with a group of people that have characters and backstories and personalities and relationships to see then how it kind of bends and flexes.
Yeah,
and I don't feel like I lied about not voting, like about not inoculating, but I don't think I felt like I really had to lie about anything else. Like, I feel like the points I was making were points I could genuinely make and believe.
For sure.
Yeah, like as an infected person, I felt like I was pretty honest throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
I did have one additional element in this game that at the 11th hour I removed. It was in the previous PDF, which was the 3rd page. And it was that, because this thing has taken over your mind and it has overridden your survival instinct, it wants to survive, that had a drawback to that. And the drawback was that since it was overriding part of your brain to force you to help it survive, it was also messing with a part of your memory. And so that it was, the suggestion was that something in your memory is incorrect. And it's something that is large enough to be noticed, but small enough to not be like, Jake, you don't remember Tass's name. You think his name is Greg. But it was like,
That's true, though.
yeah, but it's like your favorite flavors are reversed. So if you're someone who famously likes, salty things, you have a sweet tooth. You have an article of clothing that is your favorite that you remember as the wrong color. Like that it is some important little key fact that you would then use the conversations of the chatter phase to try to figure out, like, what can I talk to you about to gauge whether you're remembering everything right? Because one of the scrutinized questions that I removed was, what could I ask this person to trip them up? But that got removed then at the last moment and replaced with the inoculation vote question.
I think this merits additional play testing.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd be curious to try it out of character, like as a werewolf game, and see how it stacks up in that regard too.
Yeah.
Very fun. Good job.
Yay.
Yeah, good job.
Hell yeah.
Well, happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
The Crit Show is a Critshow Studios production, edited and produced by Brandon Wentz with music by Jake Purley. You can find more information about us at thecritshowpodcast.com. To keep up to date with upcoming live shows, contests, and other special events, follow us at The Crit Show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For even more weekly content, join us at patreon.com/thecritShow.